Hello everyone and welcome to day 2 of Arduino Days. What a day yesterday. So we showed a lot of stories, customers from all over the world. We deep dive on technology, plenty of AI application and other insights. We also had the pleasure of hosting several guests from the tech world, from all over the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And moreover, we showcased some exciting news like the Arduino AI Assistant, the new mobile robot kit, the Portenta prototyping kit, and the migration toward Zephyr OS, the new EE starter kit, and much more. So make sure that if you didn't have the chance to see it, don't panic. Everything is immortalized on our YouTube channel.
So let's kickstart the second day, which includes 3 tracks, one about K-12 education, one about higher education, and one about community. First up, we meet Nerea. Once she was a student using Arduino in a robotics competition, where me and the co-founder, David Quartiers, met her. And then a few years later, she started working at Arduino, and she's an important part of Arduino education. So let's hear her story.
Hi everyone, I'm Olivia. I'm from the Arduino marketing team. Here today, I have Nerea with us. So Nerea, can you introduce yourself?
Sure, thank you, Olivia. Hello everybody. I am Nerea. I work at the product team, fully dedicated to the education solutions because that's my passion. And currently I have been 10 years working at Arduino. So it is for me a great pleasure to celebrate this special day.
It's so nice to have you here and also to celebrate the birthday with Arduino. So can you explain and also introduce us more about your journey?
Sure, Livia. So actually, in my journey, I used Arduino as a student to create my own robots together with my friends for these competitions. Then I actually use it as a teacher because I became a teacher in the robotics club and I used Arduino for teaching. And then finally, I actually joined Arduino and I finalized my studies at Arduino. So the last part of my university studies were making a project. I did it already working for Arduino, right? And since then, actually, I have been dedicated to create solutions for students and teachers based on Arduino, of course.
That's nice. That's so inspiring. And then it means that Arduino actually was designed for all age and also for different level, like skills levels. So what I should choose based on the different age group, based on the different skills.
What we have done is try to address as many teachers as possible, as well as students. So we divide our solutions for education in between guided or self-directed. So basically, the guided solutions are those in which the teachers will find out a box with hardware or components. Then they will find an online course. So it's more like ready to be used in the classroom, fully ready. But then we have another set of teachers that are actually having the time and being creative or not enough, or maybe they have enough resources and knowledge to create their own resources, right? So they actually want to use our solutions, our boards, but they actually would like to use their own contents. So this is what we call self-directed. So it's an Arduino product or solution that you can use in any other, in many ways, actually. So
I do know that Arduino actually has so many product lines, starting from microcontrollers and also to robotics solutions, and then there are even something for the physics. So can you give us the whole picture?
Actually, for instance, let's say if we go into the entry-level solutions, right, that are more directed towards K-12 for non-technical higher ed studies, and you normally know in which curriculum you want to use the solutions, right? So you could be looking for an IoT solutions or for coding and electronics or science or robotics. So our guided solutions are mapped against these standards. We also have recommended non-guided or self-directed solutions for K-12, right? So you know that even though there is not a full course attached to this board and that other board, you should be able to create your own contents because they are easy enough to be used in K-12, right? Also, we have some recommended on the age group. And also, sometimes the teachers are looking for a specific, let's say, block-based, then you know that you can do with the Alvik robot, for instance, and we have courses for it. Maybe they are looking for MicroPython. So in our self-directed solutions, we also have the Arduino SP32 that is compatible with MicroPython, and you can program that board with no problem, right? But you could also do that with the Alvik, right? Or if you go into the industry ready, of course, you will see that the learning paths change a little bit. So it's not that much about coding and electronics anymore. It's about artificial intelligence, IoT, industry automation, mechatronics. So of course, the verticals change, but there is also a recommendation of what guided solutions fall into these different verticals, right? And the same for the self-directed. We, for instance, have a PLC. We will have a lot of tutorials, pre-open tutorials on docs that they can use to get inspired to then create their own lessons, right? So we'll always try to provide them as much as we can for them to bring our solutions into the classroom.
Okay, so thank you, Nerea. Thanks for your sharing. And then let's celebrate together with your anniversaries and the 20 years birthday for Arduino. Thank you.
Thank you, Lydia. Bye.
Earlier this year at BETT UK, the most important education fair probably in the world, we met pioneering educator Adam Hill and Austin Gardner, both passionate about STEM and the maker movement.
Yes, and we actually interviewed them on site to hear their thoughts on our latest robot, Alvik, and other beginners-friendly solutions like the Plug and Make kit. So let's take a look. BETT 2025 in London. I'm Stefano, with me there is Adam Hill. Ciao Adam.
Ciao, I'm Adam Hill. I'm a STEM specialist, a STEM enthusiast. I help schools with technology, STEM projects.
And now you have Alvik, right?
Yes, I have Alvik, thank you.
So let's have a look at our little robot, okay?
Yes, please.
Come over. Well, we 3D printed some parts and mounted some servo motor to basically bring the Alvik musician playing a xylophone in there. As you can see, it's following a line and also playing with the servo motor, the dedicated note. But we also have the Alvik cheerleader here. So here we have the Alvik cheerleader. Try to say hello to the camera. So the camera recognize your hand and then communicate it to Alvik wave.
That's when it starts to wave.
Yes. So there are the 3D printed parts with the servo motors moving the little hands.
The hands are 3D printed also?
Yes.
I work with younger students in primary school, so I'm also interested in any other entry points you have.
Absolutely. We have a new product that is called the Arduino Plug and Make Kit. You don't need to know nothing about electronics, soldering, and so on. Arduino Plug and Make Kit.
So does this kit include everything that I need to get started?
Everything that you need. You will find the super popular Arduino UNO R4 WiFi, plus the modulinos, plus the base. You can access the web platform. We have a dedicated section that allows you to choose between 7 projects. They're super easy. And the cool thing is that the code is provided and explained in detail. We also provide cloud templates to interact with your device from remote.
Would I need a lot of experience with computing products and electronics, or do you think anybody could just dive in using your resources?
You don't need no experience. Everybody can do it. It's the easiest way to get started with technology and developing your own IoT device.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for coming, Adam. See you soon.
Thank you for showing me all these products.
BETT 2025, we're here in London. I'm Stefano Arduino. With me there is Austin Gardner. Ciao, Austin.
Ciao, Stefano.
So can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, I work at LLTU International School in Spain as part of the ISP School Network. I'm really excited to talk to you a little bit to hear about Alvik, the new robot that we're experimenting with.
And he's actually the perfect person because, as a matter of fact, he's one of our Alvik star educators. So he's really passionate about it, and I'm curious to understand, how is your feeling about the engagement between you and the students with Alvik?
Yeah, right now the engagement is next level for us because I've just introduced this with our younger students around 8, 9 to 10 years old, and we're experimenting with some of the lessons online, which I really appreciate those resources. Immediately out of the box, they're able to play with this and start tinkering with just block-based coding as well, which we really appreciate at our school.
In addition to the block-based, which you told me, tell me about the Pomodoro project.
This was one of our first projects. I challenged my students to invent a solution to a problem that they identified. And a small team of students, they identified that they need to focus better when it's time to study. They learned about the Pomodoro technique, and so they developed the Pomodoro robot. This is for snacks right here, 3D printed, and it snaps on here. You can program this for, let's say, 10 minutes or 15 minutes of study time. Lights will be red, and whenever that time is up, they program the robot to spin around to dance. Lights change colors, and then it drives to them and it brings them snack for break time after study.
That's fun. What's your feeling with Arduino products and Alvik specifically?
I think there's a lot I love about this, but I think maybe the most important is I want to unlock creativity in the students. I want them to fall in love with learning. And it's something special about this robot very much is that you have that flexibility, versatility, you can customize, you've got all the resources to get started, but if you want to take it beyond, it's super easy to do.
I hope you enjoyed seeing all the versatility of our little robot. Many of our Alvik demos proudly feature our trusted Prusa 3D printer. If you love 3D printer robotics, don't miss our contest with Prusa Research, Smart Pet Gadgets with Arduino. You've got a month to enter. Check it out on printables.com. At Arduino, we love Prusa. Joseph Prusa is a friend of mine. We know each other forever. So you have to participate in this contest. But now
we will see how educators like Moonmaker from Mexico and Alison Earnhardt from Acera School are using Alvik in their classroom. Not just for coding, but also for painting, geometry, and much more.
Hi everyone, it's so exciting to be here. I'm Camila.
I am Diego, and we are the co-founders of
Moonmakers. We're an educational non-profit dedicated to make STEAM education accessible, fun, and hands-on for students of all ages. We believe that learning happens best when students are building, tinkering, and creating.
We start Moonmakers with a simple goal to inspire kids and educators to see themselves as creators.
We design tools, resources, and projects that combine science, technology, engineering, art, and math in a way that are approachable and meaningful.
Yes, educational experience for students for all the ages, using methods such as project-based learning and design thinking.
To teach a diverse array of subjects, including artificial intelligence, programming, and digital fabrication, among others.
Collaborate with schools, government, and organizations worldwide to make STEAM education accessible to everyone.
We focus on creating resources that bring project-based learning and design thinking into their classroom, regardless of their resources.
And speaking of hands-on learning, let's talk about Alvik. This is one of our favorite tools for bringing STEAM education to life. So let's talk about it and how it's changing the way students engage with programming and problem solving. One of the biggest challenges in teaching coding is making it real and interactive, and that's exactly where Alvik's come in. For example, with the block-based coding, students can start programming right away without feeling overwhelmed. They can drag and drop blocks and instantly see how their codes control the robot. It's hands-on learning at its best. One of my favorite activities with Alvik is the maze challenge. Picture this, students designing a maze using classroom objects, and their task is to program Alvik to navigate through it. But there's a catch, they cannot just guess. They need to use logic, loops, and conditional statements to make their code efficient. If Alvik gets stuck, they debug, rethink, and adjust it. It turns coding into a game where problem solving and creativity goes hand in hand. Beyond just coding, activities like this help develop critical thinking, teamwork, and resilience, all essential STEAM skills. And the best part, students see their progress in real time, which keep them motivated and engaged. This is just one example of how Alvik makes learning more dynamic and interactive. Whether it's navigating maze, following lines, or responding to sensors, encourage students to think, test, and interact just like real-world engineers and innovators.
Thank you for joining us today and for being part of this amazing community of educators and creators.
Together, we have the power to transform how students learn, helping them to see themselves not just as learners, but as creators, problem solvers, and innovators. Let's keep asking ourselves how we can make learning more exciting, more mindful, and more accessible for every student.
We also love to keep this conversation going beyond today. You can follow us at Moonmakers on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, LinkedIn, where we share free resources, tips, and ideas for educators just like you. If you have questions or want to connect us with directly, feel free to email us.
Let's continue working together to inspire the next generation of creators, innovators, and change makers. Thank you so much for being here, and we can't wait to hear your thoughts, questions, or even your own experience with project-based learning.
Hey folks, my name is Allison Earnhardt. I've been teaching science and engineering for about 14 years, and currently I manage the makerspace and teach robotics and engineering classes here at the Acera School. We are located just outside of Boston, Massachusetts, and we are a lab school. Now, what that means is that we love to partner with companies and universities to test out cutting-edge technology and try out new and innovative curricular ideas. We love figuring out what works best in the world of education and then sharing it with the broader community. And we are so excited to be collaborating with Arduino on the Alvik right now. I've got a fleet of these for my robotics students, and we have been having so much fun with them. Our students love working with the engineers and the curriculum developers at Arduino, giving them their feedback on what they like, what they think could be improved, and how our students are being inspired by the materials that they have to do bigger and crazier things. We've been having a lot of fun with these, going through the lessons online for the block code. And the students have been having a ball. As you can see, we've challenged ourselves to add a marker to these robots so that we can code them to drive around and create different shapes and different patterns. I had a lot of fun the other day challenging my students to see if they could code the movement of the wheels such that they could actually draw out a spiral pattern. It was quite challenging, but the students were up for it. They had a lot of fun figuring it out, and once they got it to work, it was just absolutely fantastic. As an educator, I'm looking to develop certain skills, obviously, with my students. I want them to be creative problem solvers. I want them to have a foundational understanding of how coding works. And basically, I want them to think like engineers. And our work with the Arduino Alvik is certainly helping with that. They love being able to look critically at how these things are working, even when they encounter problems. They're excited because they want to investigate it further. When something doesn't work the way they think it will, they stop and they go, I wonder why that is. I need to look deeper into that. And that's exactly the kind of stuff that, that I'm trying to get them to do. So it's been quite a journey. We've been going through the last few weeks, going through the different lessons, and then seeing what comes of it. The results, the outcomes are just absolutely fantastic. The kids are eager. They love getting their hands on these things and playing around with them. Once they know how to do the basic coding, now it's what else can I do? What's the next step? What are we going to do next? They're curious. They want to know more about how these things work. And there's such a great sense of satisfaction and accomplishment when they actually achieve what they're setting out to do, whether it's making artwork or making planets orbit around a sun or drawing out specific geometric patterns. It's been great. these things challenge students to think creatively, especially about coding. There's more than one way to code something. And I think that the lessons that Arduino is giving us with the Alvik and the online curriculum is that, there is more than one way to do it. So look, be thorough and get creative. And by using all the tools that are available to you, you're able to have some really cool outcomes. So yeah, happy World Arduino Day, and see you out there.
Arduino is one of the most important building blocks of the maker movement, and you were instrumental to bringing Maker Faire and Fab Labs to Italy. So where are we now in your opinion, Massimo?
Well, we are seeing an interesting curve in my opinion. There was a time a few years ago that makers were like super hyped. There was a lot of hype. Also, there was a lot of hype around Fab Labs. In Italy, at some point, there were like 120 Fab Labs, which is clearly way beyond a normal scale. And now, that all things are kind of cooled off a little bit, I think is when the maker movement, maybe with other names, or the Fab Labs, are actually starting to have a much bigger impact, because now we formed many generations of people that know how to use the tools, and we have many people who are starting to build very cool projects that become even companies that started off as makers. So I think it's cool where things are a little bit less hyped. You can work a little bit more quietly. And also Maker Faire was a tool that was very important. At some point in Italy, we had 120,000 people in a Maker Faire in a weekend. So I think, we touched a lot of people, and now we are starting to see the fruits with less hype, which is where I like to be.
Totally. And back in last year at the Maker Faire with the Arduino team, we roamed around the show a lot. And where we found students with interesting projects, we interviewed them. So now we're going to show you a little bit of those beautiful creations. Check it out. Maker Faire 2024 in Rome. I'm Stefano of Arduino. They are a cool team from the Istituto di Istruzione Superiore Alessandrini Mainardi Vittuone.
This is AirGuard, is a robot to check the quality of air, which has an Arduino Nano IoT 33, and the data are represented in a database which is connected to the robot.
Nice, so real-time data on the cloud. How about this other robot?
Well, this is Floratech. It's a robot for greenhouse, and we use it to check the information about humidity and temperature for the trees. The arm put on the terrain 2 sensors and take the data which are transferred to a database. Yes.
Nice, good job guys. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Istituto di Istruzione Superiore Marconi Galletti Einaudi, Domodossola. You guys developed a cool drone that flies over the lakes, right?
Yes,
to
yes.
do what?
This drone takes a sample of water under 3 meters, and after that the sample is taken to a laboratory and analyze that, so understand if the water is good or not. We can understand the temperature and take the data on a computer with the Wi-Fi.
So did you mention that you used the Arduino Uno to actuate the pump going down to the water?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Istituto di Istruzione Superiore Tito Sarrocchi. Emma, how is your robotic arm working?
So here I've made this robot hand with AI, and I've used Arduino UNO R4, and it's connected with this webcam. So here it follows the movement of the Python code, and it's replicated in real time with 0 delay. For this one, it's a brainwave controller with your head, and you can control things, for example, this Maker Faire robot's eyes with your mind. So if you think very much to like light up the LEDs, you can do it also with 0 delays.
That's super cool as well. Thank you, Emma. This team also designed a all-moving robot, right?
Yes, it's a robot. It can move all direction.
They also have
with
an app.
smartphone.
So that's a Bluetooth controlled app. Istituto di Istruzione Superiore Alessandro Volta. Angie was telling me about this cool CNC machine that you can wear this bandage on your head. There is a sensor that measuring the head movement, and with the Arduino UNO R4 you can actually read the data and control the machine to realize cool creations, correct? So how about this one?
This is a hand. If we press a letter on the keyboard, this will translate it into the sign language.
See that Anna is wearing some sensors on her wrist, measuring skin humidity, right? And also heart rate. It's very straightforward to see how the data are measured on the Arduino IDE.
And this is a piano that we can play just by touching the fruits.
That's super cool. Istituto di Istruzione Secondaria Superiore Ettore Majorana.
It's a weather meteo station installed at the North Pole, and it's based on Arduino R4 WiFi, and we send this data to a cloud available on our website. Temperature, humidity, and also the height of the snow in a real-time system.
I'm here with a group from ETS La Spezia who developed a device called Wi-Fi.
We developed a device that its main purpose is to save lives. It uses weight, a load cell to weight our extinguisher and sends data to a datasheet online.
Always able to detect when a fire extinguisher is not safe anymore.
Exactly. And we leverage on Arduino IoT 33, which has Wi-Fi capabilities.
From ITT Allevi San Gallo of Terni. So Maria Stella, there is a jump high challenge over here, right?
This is a balance that calculates the weight of the player and calculates the height of the jump the player does.
Okay, so Gabriele just jumped. The Arduino UNO Rev3 is calculating his weight and now also the height.
The energy and the velocity that he does.
Cool. So next one, you show me an automated hydroponic system.
We have the display that we show the temperature, the pH.
Oh nice, you customize it all. It's 3D printed, there are different type of valves and you're actually managing chemicals, water, temperature. There is also a game at your stand, right? Kind of whack-a-mole.
Yeah, the function of this game is a light turn on and the player press the button of the light that turn on.
From the Istituto Tecnico Tecnologico Enrico Fermi.
This is a robotic hand controlled by an Arduino UNO R4 and this smart camera, and this hand is capable of recognizing its owner, which is Gianluca.
Okay, so when Gianluca is sitting there, the hand is saying hello.
Hello.
So how about this AGV?
It's a smart wheelchair that can be controlled by a vocal assistant and can recognize street signals. This one is a smart farm that can be controlled by an application or manually. It has a few sensors like this distance sensor with ultrasonic sounds that can play an alarm. We have also a fan and a light controlled by a peer sensor. They are solar panels that can follow the sun with many sensors, and they can actually power the whole farm.
Good job, guys. From Torino, Liceo Cattaneo. And we saw this cool robotic arm that's powered by an Arduino Mega 2560.
Well, now we're actually doing a demo, but the robotic arm can mount it on top of this robotic dog.
But now I see it's mounting a gun turret.
Exactly. We have this radio controller powered by an Arduino Nano that controls the turret. The next step is mounting a camera with Raspberry Pi for facial recognition and detection.
With the team from Liceo Scientifico Leonardo da Vinci from Florence.
This one is a measuring instrument that measures many parameters about seawater. It's a project for sustainability, and we can measure temperature, pressure, some wavelengths reflected by water, and TDS, that will be how much solids and salt is the salt into seawater.
We installed it in the island of Procida, a depth of 1.5 meters underwater. We also planted a solar battery capable of powering the device for the entirety of its life. We also planted it for a month where it was capable of sensing thousands of data. We created a website capable of registering the data in real time.
That's very interesting. Congratulations, guys. Good work.
And we're back. So we have a comment and question from the user Sad Chipotle, nice username. Which one is a better board, UNO R3 or UNO R4? I would say in 2025, UNO R4 is clearly a better board because you get a 32-bit ARM processor, which is natively 5 volts, which is very, very rare. Native USB, you got, you know, there's also a version with Wi-Fi. So I would say overall, it's a way better board, you know, and, because the computing power and all the different peripherals that you don't get on the old UNO. So for the past 2 years, our Thailand partner, Imagineering, hosted Arduino Education Day in Bangkok, bringing together over 3,000 students for workshop, projects, and collaborations. So thanks to this effort, it's been a huge success. So
yeah, and we're super excited to see partners from the Philippines, Sri Lanka, and Taiwan joining this initiative, further growing the STEAM education in all of Asia. Now, let's take a look at the highlights.
Yeah.
We are leaders from the Philippines. We joined the physics battle competition with the Arduino UNO R4 WiFi to innovate and bring our idea to life. Project Equip focuses on creating an advanced weather monitoring and alert system using IoT technology. The main goal of Project Equip is to continuously monitor critical environmental parameters such as temperature, humidity, water level, wind direction, and wind speed. The data is uploaded in real time to the cloud, and users can access it from anywhere on any device to stay informed and safe.
Here are the components of the system: the Arduino UNO R4 WiFi, the HD11 sensor, the rain gauge, the water level sensor, the ultrasonic sensor, speed sensor, the potentiometer, and the buzzer.
Once again, this has been Team Nerds from the Philippines. Arduino Education Day, Thailand!
Arduino was born as an educational tool, and we're always inspired by how students and professors use Arduino to drive innovation, create solutions that benefit society. That's why we designed many industry-ready solutions.
Yes, and actually an example of that is the PLC Starter Kit. And together with the Arduino Academy online class, it features all the tools that you'll need to become an Arduino certified professional. We're actually going to take a closer look with our sales director, Francisco Cattaneo.
Ciao Francesco.
Stefano.
So here we have a PLC starter kit product. Can you tell me something about it?
What you see here is a motion control simulation, so a demo of our light PLC from Arduino can help you understanding PLC programming languages, or you can choose Arduino IDE if you prefer, but using a full industrial product with a lot of connectivity.
So I can program Opta both with the Arduino, C, C++, but also PLC programming languages.
Exactly.
We have a dedicated IDE.
Not only dedicated, but we have even a platform for training and even a kit online that you can buy and assemble your own demo.
So Arduino IDE or Arduino PLC IDE, that's what I can use, and you're also providing an I/O platform to control and test your PLC code.
And Stefano, don't forget you are using a full industrial product, so your students will find the same product, same environment into the factory lane.
So you were telling me something about an online platform I can follow and get certified by Arduino, right?
Absolutely. That's the certification platform where you can take the course, take the training, learn, but at the same time get certified.
So Francesco, Arduino is widely recognized as one of the best prototyping tools in the world, especially for industries, correct?
Stefano, you are 100% right. Consider that I can give you right an example. BMW, widely famous automotive, they are prototyping with Arduino. If you go on our web, you find the business case, the application story, where we talk on how they use Arduino to go faster on the prototyping process.
Okay, so I see many components. I see a system of module, the Portenta H7. What else?
So the Portenta H7 is linked to our carrier board, the mid carrier. So we are talking a full industrial product. Plus the Nikla Sense ME, the 4G module that you cannot see because it's just behind. And you have also our Modulino to get a full testing station. And we are coming out with two versions. What you see here is the Sense ME. We will have also the Vision one. So you can even prototype for different applications into your factory or into your process.
And again, Arduino Academy.
Exactly. It's how we continuously support the community, Stefano. So you will have all the material and you are ready to go.
So, you know a curious thing? Human cognition and emotions still hold so many mysteries.
Oh, wow.
And actually, Professor Alessandro Gabbiadini and Alberto Gallace from the University of Milano Bicocca are exploring these through a cross-disciplinary approach that blends psychology, neuroscience, and technology,
That's a lot.
bringing virtual reality and this real-world experiences. And we even got to visit them at the university, and everything they're doing is just really cool.
Super cool. So let's dive into their fascinating projects.
My name is Alberto Gallace. I have a PhD in cognitive neuroscience, and I'm teaching applied neuroscience and neurofoundational multisensory communication at University of Milano Bicocca. I'm also the current scientific director of Mind and Behavioral Technological Center, or MIPTEC.
My name is Alessandro Gabbiadini. I'm a professor of cyber psychology here at the University of Milano Bicocca. I have a PhD in cognitive life in the information society, and I work at the MIPTEC.
MIPTEC is one of the biggest multidisciplinary research centers in Europe for the study of human factors in interaction with technology, and in particular with virtual and augmented reality. We use technology, like this one, for understanding the complexity of the human mind, and the other side, we use what we know about the human mind for improving technology, making it more usable, safe, intuitive, and acceptable. At MIPTEC, I'm working with my team on several projects, where Arduino technology is integrated with virtual reality simulation. In particular, we investigate how the neural system adapts to changes in the way in which we interact with the world, directly or by digital and robotic mediation. We create situations where Arduino provides haptic feedback to users during the interaction with virtual objects. In some cases, information coming from Arduino sensors mounted on a robotic arm is provided to users in virtual reality and generate tactile stimuli on the body by means of rigor motors and actuators. We then collect electrophysiological data about the change occurring in the brain following the interaction. This helps us to understand the mechanism of sensory-motor neuroplasticity, but also to develop human augmentation and rehabilitation for users. This is just an example of some projects at MIPTEC, where we can simulate several sensations, touch, medium, smell, and so on, and detect any kind of biometric, neurological, and physiological parameter from the users.
We are now deciding to expand our lab by creating a new environment to study social interaction, the P-Home. The BHOME stands for Bicocca House of Multidimensional Ecological Experience, and it's an innovative project developed by the Department of Psychology at the University of Bicocca. Basically, the BHOME is a fully equipped smart home designed to study human behavior and social interaction in everyday life. Not only social interaction, but also interaction of people with new technologies. It provides a controlled and realistic environment where researchers, but also PhD students and other colleagues can observe and analyze how people interact with different technologies and devices. Thanks to a network of sensors and Arduino controllers, we'll be able to monitor and adjust all the environmental factors like lighting or indoor temperature, as well as to collect behavioral data such as interpersonal distance between users and physiological responses to changes in the environment. We'll also use advanced Arduino technologies like the Nickel Vision board with machine learning capabilities to recognize user gestures, for example, when people is interacting with a personal assistant like digital humans. The system will control wall projection that can simulate various indoor but also outdoor environments, making the experience even more immersive.
And we are back. We have a comment from our chat, and hi, the Black Wolf. We'd love to know more about your Stream Deck project, so feel free to share your project with the community on the Arduino project tab. We will be happy to share it across our channels.
Yes. And did you guys see like how many events, how many live events are actually happening during Arduino days? There are more than 220.
That's a
It's
lot.
amazing to see how in addition to our event, you're all having fun creating your very own. Now moving forward, Fabio, do you think Arduino is just for engineering or computer science students?
No, not really. Fashion design students from Politecnico di Milano are incorporating Arduino Modullinos, for example, into their wearable tech project, making garments smarter than ever. Sounds cool, right?
Yeah.
Hi all! With this presentation, we are going to show you an example of a modular teaching course called Advanced Manufacturing for Sustainable Fashion, delivered at the School of Design of the Politecnico di Milano. In this course, we explore the intersection of fashion technology and sustainability in the practice of design. Why are we here? Because this year, the course has benefited of the collaboration with Arduino that has provided not only the new technology for the students to prototype with, but also has served the students while working with it to understand its limits and opportunities. My name is Daria Casciani and I am an assistant professor at Politecnico di Milano, where I collaborate both at the design department within the Fashion and Process Research Group, but I also teach at the Design for the Fashion System program at the School of Design of the Politecnico di Milano.
Hello everyone, I'm Matteo Ciornelli. I'm a product designer and the founder of Superforma. Superforma is a design studio focused on digital fabrication technology and especially additive manufacturing process.
So the teaching module explores Fashion 4.0, emphasizing digital fabrication rules in reshaping the design, prototyping and production processes, with the scopes also of including technologies on board of the garments toward the prototyping of interactive fashion tech garments and wearable accessories. As said, the application of technologies needs to be sustainable, but with a multi-dimensional perspective, by encompassing not only the very well-known dimensions of environment and economic impacts of design applications, but also the social and cultural sustainability, which has been identified more lately, but is very important for the recognition of diversity, inclusivity, and preservation of cultural heritage. Then, to make the students critically reflect and implement strategies towards sustainability and circularity in their prototypes, we have applied various eco-design strategies for assessing and considering the environmental impact of the design ahead at the very early stage of concept generation. So, from here on, we present some of the prototypes that has been developed. For example, Flow Within is focusing on designing interactive garments that enhance body awareness and relaxation, integrating vibration motor, LED, and buzzer into the garment. Opterun is designed for jogging with a temperature sensor and a movement sensor that are monitoring the body temperature and the running position. ThermaShield instead is designed for low temperature monitoring for mountain climbing enthusiasts. The wool electronic system is located in front of the vest and is safely stored inside frontal pockets. Then finally, Nights is a protective jacker that uses distance sensors, LEDs, to create the turning indication for scooter or motorbike drivers. A buzzer is also integrated into the system for alarming when the driver is accidentally falling down.
So, also related to the previous question, how far do you think research with Arduino will take us?
Well, I think the next talks are going to be quite interesting and will actually inspire others. We have Lucia and Paolo from Cambridge University, Anad from Cornell University, and Jessup from Florence University. And they're all here to share their most exciting projects and research. So let's take a look.
Yeah.
And here we are again with Paolo and Lucia that were featured last year in Arduino Days 2024 with a super cool project about biophotovoltaic technology. So now they will tell you everything about. First of all, let me introduce them. Paolo Bombelli, a researcher, also known as Algae electrician of the Department of Biochemistry at the University of Cambridge, and Lucia Chiron, biodesigner at the University of Cambridge. Ciao Paolo, hi Lucia, please tell us something about the beautiful projects.
Ciao Stefano, hi to everyone. We're very pleased to be back with Arduino on 25. Last year we introduced you with this little device which is one of our first fully functional biophotovoltaic system. A biophotovoltaic is a bioelectrochemical system that harnesses the energy of light and via photosynthesis convert it into a small amount of electrical energy.
That's fascinating, and I'm proud to say that we are actively helping you by installing these prototyping stations in our device, in our offices in Torino. And inside here, there is an Arduino MKR Wi-Fi 1010, correct, Lucia?
Yes, as you said, it's equipped with the Arduino MKR 1010 board as well as the Arduino environmental sensor. And that is so that we can collect environmental data on temperature, humidity, and light. And we can collect that data against the voltage output of our devices to see how they perform in different environments.
Since last year, you developed so many new applications and target audiences as well, right? Like the educational part. So Lucia, can you tell us something about this new kit you developed?
Yes, so as an implementation of the biophotovoltaics into the educational realm, we have built a device that's about 3 times the size, and this is being used as an educational toolkit so students can build up their own device. They can grow the algae inside, and then they can run experimentations on their own.
I'm fiddling. I actually just connect a small LED.
It works.
Thinking.
Nice. So you're democratizing the access to the biophotovoltaic technology pretty much.
Indeed, this is one of our aim. Be able to disseminate those educational toolkits in as many schools as possible, and also try to combine them with a system for recording data, which in this case is Arduino.
Paolo, what's next?
Next can be even more exciting. Now, I don't want to promise something and don't deliver, but we are working very hard in a super exciting project, again, with you, Arduino. I really hope next year we're going to be here with you to tell you more about that. No spoiler, sorry.
No spoiler, stay tuned. But most of all, thank you very much, Lucia and Paolo, for staying with us.
Thank you so much for having us, and happy 20th anniversary to Arduino.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anand Mishra. I'm a research associate in the Department of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering at Cornell University. Today, we're going to talk about how to control robot using fungus. And this talk will be done by me and my friend, Dr. Jessa Kim, postdoctoral researcher at University of Florence. He's also co-author of this paper. So before we start, we just want to say thank you to Arduino for considering our work to highlight at Arduino Day. And we are really grateful and really excited about this opportunity. So before we talk about fungus biohybrid robots, let's talk about what are biohybrid robots. So if you look into, the modern scenario, most of biohybrid robots are actually made of living cells, mostly animal cells. So here is an example you see that is made of skeletal muscles. And another example that you see is the microswimmer that is made of cardiac muscles. However, these systems have some challenges or limitations. So one of the key limitation of the system is, so these systems require very high, quality skills, to handle living cells, as well as the challenge. They have a challenge of, the longevity of these cells. So that's why we thought about what could be the other model system to build biohybrid robots. And we thought the fungus could be one of the model organism. And why? Because they have a longer lifespan. At the same time, they have a very unique electrical signaling. And so what we did in this work is we invented a technique that allows us to read electrical signal in a very stable and reliable fashion. And here you see it is one of the longest recorded fungal signal for almost more than 30 days. And we found there's this electrical signal could vary between 100 microvolt to around 2000 microvolts. And on top of that, we found this electrical signal has some similarities, we have our muscle signals or our brain signals. So we thought about, we can use these kind of systems and we can probably build, we build a robot using these electrical signaling mechanism. And so to do that, we actually invented, a method. As you can see here, we built a synthetic robot, and then we stick the biohybrid robot on top of it. And what we did is we just read this signal, and then we use actually Arduino to command the biosynthetic robot. So it's like, the fungus generating a signal, and that is instructing to Arduino, and Arduino is actually, commanding to the motors or the valves to control it. And I think for more control discussion, my friend Jessa will take over from here and talk about how the control system worked.
So yeah, I will discuss about more detail on how to control the robot. For the first time, we have to acquisition the fungi data. To convert the fungi data to electronic signal, we also use the DAQ board. And then we also set some voltage range, also threshold. Then every 30 seconds, we collected the fungi data. To interpret the fungi data, we also apply the filter, and we also set the height of the fungi. Then automatically they detect the peak and width data. Then this data we will save. To control the robot, we will use the Arduino, and also we usually PWM and high and low signal. The output of this signal to control the wheel and soft robot. And we will show some demonstration video. The left video, you will see the wheel robot. When they detect the peak of the fungi signal, the motor will work. Then next, the right side is a soft robot. When they detect the fungi signal, they also the valve open and close. And we also introduced some UV, it's a spatial signal that we also check it how the fungi is a movement, different movement. So when you see here like fungi, and then we also predefine the action, then you can see the robot movement. Okay, so I appreciate the Arduino community to give this opportunity, and I will look forward to any question from you in the future. Thank you.
We also see one of our friends from the chat. David Groom is in the house.
Ciao, David.
So Massimo, you have a side quest these days that, it has been in Italian language for a little bit, but now you're switching to English as well. Can you tell us something about Supermoderno?
Yeah, I started this side project, which is about the history of technology. So it's about telling stories about the history of how the digital technology that surround us have come about, and also try to find little lessons in there. And up until now, it has been in Italian mostly, but now we're switching to English. And the first video that we are publishing in English is a personal story of the history of Arduino. I concentrated on the first 7 years of Arduino. So we have a little trailer, and in the trailer you understand why 7. It's 2025. It's 20 years of Arduino. It has been a crazy journey. It has been fulfilling. It has been exhilarating. It's been also painful at times, and sometimes even frustrating. But it has been 20 years of incredible creativity by a community that made amazing projects and literally changed the world. One of the interesting things about projects and companies like Arduino is that sometimes they're defined overnight successes. But in my personal experience, I think it takes about 7 years to go from an idea to something that really has an impact on the world. So now I'm going to tell you the story of the first 7 years of the history of Arduino, when we went from an idea to a strong community whose work is starting to get recognized by the world.
One of the best ways to celebrate Arduino is by highlighting the people who bring it to life every day. In this segment, we'll hear from incredible community members who have integrated Arduino into their work, passions, and daily lives.
So we start off with a very special guest, Eben Upton, the founder of the Raspberry Pi Foundation. So obviously, I have great admiration for the work that Eben has done. The Raspberry Pi is an amazing platform, and he has executed flawlessly his project. And and also we have done projects with their processor. So there's also a collaboration going on. So please have a look at these few words from Eben Upton.
Eben, thank you very much for joining us today. Arduino Day 2025 is an important date. We are celebrating 20 years of Arduino, and of course you are a VIP for our community and for your community. Can you tell our community who you are and what is your role for the newbies, the new guys that are joining?
Yeah, so my name's Eben Upton. I run a thing called Raspberry Pi in the UK. So I founded a thing called the Raspberry Pi Foundation, and I now run Raspberry Pi Limited, which is the commercial bit, the trading bit of Raspberry Pi.
Thank you very much, Eben. So basically, Arduino has been around for a while, and I wanted to get your perspective and give your opinion on how Arduino in 20 years shaped the sector we are in, about enabling creativity of people worldwide. So what is your perspective? How do you see Arduino? And thank you very much, by the way, for the nice article that a few years ago your magazine published around Arduino.
Yeah, it's incredible, right, that it's been 20 years already. So Raspberry Pi is, I guess, about it's between 4 and 7 years younger than Arduino. So kind of everything we've done at Raspberry Pi has happened kind of in the context of this kind of trailblazing work that Arduino did starting in 2005. I think Arduino was really the first organization to realize that there was a gap between the technology that, technologies, I guess, particularly, technology in the embedded space and technology in the embedded educational space in particular, was marching forwards very fast, but that a gap had opened up, really. The capabilities of the platform, the theoretical capabilities of the platforms, and what the average user, even the average reasonably technically capable user, was able to do with those platforms. It was a software gap. It was a collateral gap. You have pieces of hardware with 1,000-page data sheets and incredible capabilities, but you have a lack of collateral around those platforms. So you have a lack of software collateral to make the devices operable. You have a lack of documentation collateral to help people understand how the hardware and the software work. And critically, you have a lack of community collateral around the platform. Even if you have great software and even if you have great documentation, if you have a problem, you're on your own. Right, and that's kind of probably where, I think it's a fair description. I was probably just starting to use the, obviously the earliest Arduino devices built around AVR8, the Atmel platform. And I've been using those chips at about the time that, that Arduino was getting started. And there was a sense that you had this awesome kind of unfulfilled potential in these platforms. And that was probably, for me, Arduino sort of kind of seminal realization about the state of the world, and it's probably the set of lessons that has best informed the work we've done at Raspberry Pi.
It has been great to have you today, and of course we will continue our collaboration between Arduino and Raspberry. So thank you for the time you have spent with us, and I hope our community will enjoy during this day of celebration worldwide this conversation. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, and happy birthday, Arduino.
Nikita on the chat asks, are I2C and UART both possible with Arduino? Yes, on every single platform supported by Arduino, there is I2C and UART, but we also now support more sophisticated protocol. Even on the Arduino UNO R4, you can use the CAN protocol and other more sophisticated protocols. So, Arduino gives you the best flexibility when you're trying to build something with microcontroller.
So, another question for you, Massimo. Why did the founders of Arduino decide to open source the platform at the beginning?
Because we are crazy.
That's a
No, the idea was both me and David Quartiers, for example, we had a lot of experience with open source. We used Linux since the beginning. So we felt that we used a lot of open source software to build Arduino, and we wanted it to be open source so that anyone could build upon, and they didn't feel locked inside a proprietary platform that we would control completely. Also, we decided to open source also the hardware, which was fairly new at the time. And I would say Arduino then became the most successful open hardware platform in the world. But open source, it's a tool that enables people to innovate and gives you an open foundation. And I would say, as I said multiple times, even now with the world moving to AI, I believe that AI needs to be open source and decentralized to guarantee us the same freedoms that we get from the other forms of open source.
Nice, that's fascinating. So, moving next, our Chief Product Officer, Marcello, will walk us through Arduino's biggest milestones from the past year. His talk showcases how a shared passion for innovation has fueled our growth and strengthened the open source movement. Because at its core, Arduino is all about community, collaboration, and the power of open source.
Hello, I'm Marcello, Chief Product Officer here at Arduino. This year, like every year, we publish our open source report, and it's been truly inspiring to see the Arduino community coming together and growing and thriving as a group of tens of thousands of people all sharing the same passion for embedded electronics and being joined also by the increasing number of companies that have chosen to contribute to this ecosystem by releasing their software and their hardware as with open source licenses. To give you an idea of some of the highlights of 2024 when it comes to open source in the Arduino ecosystem. In 2024, Arduino released 7 new hardware boards completely in open source license. It's actually a brand new family of products called Modernissimo. We also, provided the usual contribution to the major Arduino software projects that you know and love, like the Arduino IDE, the Arduino CLI, and of course the Arduino Lab for MicroPython, which is our major platform for enabling Arduino users to, run their MicroPython code on Arduino products. At the same time, you might remember that last year we announced our joining the Zephyr project as part of the Linux Foundation. And we already can release the first Arduino course on Zephyr in beta, and we plan to continue this investment for 2025 and beyond. When it comes to the contribution of the community, we've seen a pickup of 18% in new contributions, reaching a total of 1,200 libraries actively maintained by the community. And to give you an idea also on the projects, on Arduino Project Hub, we actually published in 2024 over 350 new tutorials, all in open source, showing how thriving the community is when it comes to new project. Arduino has also been contributing back to the larger and wider open source ecosystem by really participating into major open source projects. I already mentioned Zephyr and MicroPython, but also MicroROS to give another example, and many other projects. So the Arduino community is, not only alive and kicking, but thriving and growing. And, we would love, to have you join and contribute to the community. And you can do it in many ways. Of course, the main way for you to contribute is to buy an original Arduino product, because that's the main way that we, of course, fund the work that we are doing here at Arduino. At the same time, you can also subscribe for Arduino Cloud and, take advantage of, the whole new features and capabilities that, we add almost every month. You can also make a donation, and you can find the instruction on our website. But probably the main way to contribute is to become a contributor yourself, or to support an existing contributors, because it's the Arduino, the power of the Arduino community is the community itself, and we would love for you to all be part of that. So thank you so much for a great 2024, and here's to an even better 2025. Thank you so much. Bye.
Arduino proudly supports the Open Source Hardware Association, promoting accessible, collaborative, and user-first technology. Don't miss the upcoming Open Hardware Summit in Edinburgh, Scotland, at the end of May. So, Massimo, talking about a popular topic, what is your favorite Arduino project?
Well, so my favorite Arduino project is this project called Blue Box, from this young woman from Catalonia called, sorry for the pronunciation, Judy Giraud-Benet, who has developed this sensor that can detect breast cancer from a urine sample. And she also won a prize, the Dyson Innovation Prize, and now she's bringing this product out in the market, and she's prototyped her product with Arduino. So definitely a young woman who invents a sensor to detect an illness that affects many, many women. I think it's perfect. I can retire after this.
That's nice. So it's always tough to find a favorite project, but the next video will show you how the inventors Charlie and Leoni from Spain, actually, they invented a custom-made electric car powered by Arduino. And if that wasn't wild enough, what about turning interactive art into full-fledged robot building? In the video after, Jan the Coster's journey has taken him around the world crafting ingenious Arduino-powered robots, literally and figuratively. So let's see how these makers are redefining what's possible. Hi Charlie, it's a pleasure to have you here with us with Arduino Days 2025.
Thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely. It's tough for me to say what is my favorite Arduino project, but this one stands out for sure. I still remember when you came over to Torino and showed us your beautiful creation. But first, can you tell us something about Loric, your company?
Well, Loric is a electric car maker on the island Mallorca, and the story started 100 years ago. They built race cars on Mallorca, well, with a gas motor. So I got the company and I thought, why not starting with handmade electric cars building on the island?
And it's beautiful electric cars. They also look good and they go fast, right? I remember you showed us your creation called the Batteryrunner. Can you tell us something about it?
Yes, I thought about what could we do different than normal cars, because we don't like to make a car factory on Mallorca. We like to do handmade crazy stuff. So we made it looking different electric car.
So this beautiful car has, I remember, 20,000 screws holding it together. You used a special kind of aluminum, and there's plenty of Arduino in it. Is that correct?
Well, there might be around 10 Arduinos or more, and Arduino drives the whole car. Without Arduino, the car will not work.
And it's actually a road car. It has a German or Austrian license plate, and you drove it across all Europe with your daughter Leonie. Is that correct?
Yes, it's a street legal Europe license. So we can drive it around the world. Maybe we do that one day. It's like a series normal car.
Nice. And I remember seeing a lot of interesting pieces inside this car, like a cool steering wheel that uses an Arduino Mega, correct? What else do you have inside?
We try to do all parts they are possible in our own shop here in Mallorca. And so we created an all aluminum steering wheel with an Arduino Mega in it that drives all the functions of the car.
And also the speedometer, you realized custom with Arduino. Also the Tesla motor is managed by Arduino, you said. And also the entire lighting, pretty much everything, correct?
All. I love the Arduino stuff because they are always working perfect. I never ever had a problem because of an Arduino. We start the car with an Arduino and we drive it. We make the lights. We drive the Tesla motor, and it's always working.
Nice. That's a very, very cool story. About the next steps of this project, you mentioned adding new capabilities to the car. Can you give us some examples?
You know, I'm a big fan of the new UNO R4 because that board is more tolerant for the 14 volts we have on the car. And I like the idea, and I did some practice to update all the boards in the car over Wi-Fi. And the central station will be a Giga in the future because it's more fast. And the other small stations, they are giving the central station the informations over the CAN bus. I like to get them, all of them, to the UNO R4, so I can update them over the Wi-Fi.
Nice. And you also tell me you're reading the diagnostics with your phone, right? Close to the car, we need to open it all.
Oh yes, over the Arduino, how it called, the online system. I can get all the data from the Giga or from the UNO R4 over the internet, and I can see the battery stage on my phone, and every temperature from every battery cell I can see.
That's very nice. Thank you very much, Charlie. Also say hello to Leonie, and next time you drive over Europe, come again to Torino, we meet again, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jan de Koster. Welcome here in my studio in Mechelen, and that's a city in the middle of Belgium. First, happy anniversary to Arduino. For the past 30 years, I've been making all kinds of interactive installations here in my studio. And I remember in 2008, I visited a conference in Berlin, and that's where I saw a presentation about the project called Arduino for the first time. And it immediately caught my attention because I could imagine already the possibilities to use them in physical interactive installations. So 4 years later, I got the chance for the first time to create a machine for a campaign for Mini that was controlled with an Arduino and an Ethernet shield. And that was just the start, because I made many similar installations where people could, on social media, could control physical installations in the real world. A few months later, that's where the real breakthrough came, because I got a call from another agency asking me if I could build them a robot. The robot was called Yummy, and he had to act on a stage to be the host on a website. I had never built a robot, but I was a character designer and I had built many physical installations, so it made sense for them to ask me. And suddenly there was a click and I realized, yes, I am a robot builder. That's what I'm going to do from now on. So indeed, the next 12 years, that's mainly what I did, creating robots in all shapes and forms for many different situations, applications. But most of the time, these robots weren't really practical. So they weren't solving practical problems. They were bringing a message, a story. They were storytellers. And that is why it's so important that these robots are able to have to make a connection, to have an empathic connection with people when they meet them at festivals or at exhibitions or when they travel the world. Because some of these robots, like Robin and Rachel, they went to other continents, and sometimes I could join them, but often they were just on their own. And people were just taking care of them nonetheless. It was really fascinating to see how they weren't just taking care of a machine that I had sent them, but the person, the characters became really important when they were discussing their interactions with these robots. People were, it was like they were feeling that there was a heart and a soul in these robots' characters. And that's why the Arduino had such a symbolic role in all of this, because in the heart of all of these robots is an Arduino board in some form controlling the algorithm that steers the behavior of these robots. So you could say the Arduino is the actual heart of all of these robots. So I really hope we can continue this journey with Arduino for many more years, and thanks a lot for listening to my story, and see you next time.
So Massimo, we have another question from the audience. When can we start coding Arduino in Python?
Well, you can already. So a number of Arduino boards have been supporting the MicroPython language, which is a lightweight version of Python that's quite complete. And also we have released several projects to support this. For example, there is the Arduino Studio for MicroPython, which is a small development environment that makes it very simple to use MicroPython on Arduino, but also on other boards in the Arduino tradition. So MicroPython is available now, so you can start right now. So stop watching this live and go code.
Please don't stop watching this live.
No, I'm saying specifically to the person who is asking the question.
Okay.
Drop everything, go do MicroPython.
So I'm excited to announce the next speaker. She has been shaping open source hardware from the very beginning. Limor Freid, better known as Lady Ada from Adafruit. Adafruit has empowered countless people to explore electronics, coding, and engineering, making tech more accessible. That's why our collaboration has been so strong over the years.
Well, you know, with Limor, we've known each other for many, many years. She was there when we did the first meeting about open hardware, which was at IBM in New York a ton of years ago. She's been involved in this from the very beginning, so you know, I'm super excited to hear what she has to say about welcoming and inspiring the next generation of makers. So let's hear her story. Ciao, Limor.
Hello, Limor. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Hi.
For our audience, it would be nice if you can introduce yourself and introduce the company that you founded.
Thanks for having me on your birthday. So my name is Limor, but I go by Lady Ada, and I run Adafruit, which is an open source hardware company, and we've been in New York City since about 2005. You know, basically what we do is we make educational electronics, parts that help people learn about how to become an engineer, how to do electronics, how to write code, which is why we have had such a long history with Arduino. We have collaborated so much. You know, one of our first products that we sold was a motor shield. It's a product that fits on top of the Arduino and allows people to turn the Arduino into a robotics controller.
Whatever comes out of Adafruit basically has some influence or has been designed by Limor. You have been involved in so many projects, and you saw the evolution of this world from the very beginning. Can you tell us about the evolution of our world, our market?
You know, it's been really interesting to see, again, how fast the technology is developing. Definitely things are like happening so much faster. I remember it used to take weeks or months to get circuit boards and prototypes going, and now we can do it in a couple of days. One thing that is cool is there's always so many beginners, and I think what's neat is to see how Arduino and the Arduino ecosystem has kind of filtered into so many different communities. Every community is getting involved in doing DIY electronics and learning engineering, and so I love seeing the intermixing of what those communities have to offer and how we can learn from them.
This is amazing to see how people get engaged with technology. But we have seen, at least on our side, but I think that you started this as well at Adafruit, you know, a shift towards, for example, the MicroPython and Python in general. Can you elaborate a little bit about your involvement there and how do you see this trend for embedded systems?
I think everyone sort of came up with this. But as the technology over the last 20 years has increased, especially now, you know, for $1, you can get an RP2040 chip or RP2350 chip. The amount of computation and capability of the chips has increased so much that is actually starting, in my opinion, to become outside of the human brain capacity to be able to build handcrafted programs. It's just too much, and there's too much code. We have the processor capability to use these higher level languages, and they make the programming job so much easier. I think you guys have seen that. Like the Perl line has such advanced processing capabilities. In order to get people started quickly, you need to have a higher level language.
I think that you're seeing the same thing related to the necessity to have a real-time operating system to run more complex multitask application.
You know, I remember when Mbed came out, and I remember like I was at Maker Faire and they announced Mbed, and I was like, this is very cool, but it was so constrained. It was only for ARM. For example, you know, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth stacks, you know, nobody wants to write that. Nobody wants to interface them. They're so complicated. That's where real-time operating systems like Zephyr are really great. What we want, and I think it could be a really good underpinning for making more hardware be available to people who want to use the Arduino ecosystem, but don't want to do the work of doing a board support package, which, as you know, is like, you know, years of work.
Absolutely. And we are basically working very closely with the Zephyr team. So this is a very important evolution.
I think, you know, we came out a little traumatized, but I think we learned a lot of lessons about how to make sure we don't get stuck in that bad situation again.
We are seeing more and more application where on tiny microcontroller you can make incredible things. So what is your take there?
I found them like challenging. I think one of the struggles with AI is if it isn't giving you like close to 99+% success rates, it's actually more frustrating than if you just had your own algorithm. However, I think that what could be really interesting is a mix of edge AI and cloud, you know, private cloud-based. For example, you know, a common thing that people want to do is have a camera. The camera recognizes when a person walks up and it then recognizes the face. But then maybe using like a cloud backend to then get more information like, hey, who is this person? What are they wearing? Is there anything in the background? I think that might be a little bit promising because it's great for privacy, it's great for low power, but it's very tough to get the performance people want from these microcontrollers.
What message would you send to the community, to the new generation?
You can just build stuff. You pick up your Arduino Uno, you pick up a couple sensors, and you can just build whatever you want. The code is open source. The designs are open source. There's an amazing community on social networks, all ready to help you out to make your next project come true. So please share your projects with each other and keep making.
You know, inviting people to share, I think, is the core message that we can send to the community. Very big honor to have you for this celebration. And
happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
And we're back. We actually want to say a special thank you to our incredible crew that continuously working behind the scenes to make all of this happen. So a big shout out to them.
Okay. So, back to us. Who isn't amazed by how technology blends with different fields, sparking new ways to think, build, and create?
Yes, and we have Monica Rick, who's discovered Arduino feeling more like a bit of magic and even just a little bit of witchcraft. But she didn't keep all that magic to herself. She's brought it to her students using art as a gateway to explore technology in unexpected ways. Let's dive into her journey.
Hello everyone, my name is Monica Rikic. I'm an artist from Barcelona and I'm very happy to be here for the Arduino Day and celebrate its 20th anniversary because I think I kind of know Arduino for 20 years almost right now when I was studying fine arts here in the University of Barcelona. I was lucky enough to have this teacher that brought us this amazing thing that no one knew what it was, and it was actually one of the first Arduinos. And for me, it was like discovering magic. Like suddenly I could use something that could actually feel and react to the real world, and that could be actually programmed and reprogrammed every time to do whatever magic or witchcraft I wished of. And that's actually how my relationship with Arduino started. And now I'm very happy and proud to transfer all this information, all these ways of making amazing things with art with my art students here in Bau University in Barcelona, where we have this arts and digital arts program that it's basically everything done outside the screen thanks to Arduino. And for the past year, since Arduino R4 WiFi just came out, we went like one step forward because we could connect everything wireless through its OSC. And I would like to share with you a project that I'm very happy that has been like recently added to the Catalan National Contemporary Art Collection. So PsychoFlash is a large-scale interactive installation that is made of 20, or well, it can be more, but it usually are 20 modules, and they are made with an Arduino R4 WiFi that is connected to a fan, to a relay, and to an LED strip. It's a very, very simple system, but actually it creates a very impressive effect and a very organic feeling. We can say that they are like these big inflatable balloons that are set up in the ceiling, and people can walk underneath them, you know, having like this effect that the room is kind of alive, like transforming all the space in a multisensory experience that actually can react to the people interaction. There's different ways that the modules can interact with the people, and that's all thanks to the OSC capacities that the R4 Arduino gives to them, because they are not only interactive by themselves, but they can also be interconnected. One of the ways that I use them for its interactivity is connect a webcam that can somehow detect how many people and how people are moving underneath the balloons, and would affect their lights and their movements, like giving them more or less actions, for example. There's also another way that me and a colleague called Ruben, that we created like a more playful installation. So you had a total of 2 players, and you had like a custom-made controller that was actually made with the new ESP32 Nano Arduino devices, and some custom soft controllers that were in the legs of the little controllers. Like there was these little creatures that were controllers, and you had like this kind of this matrix that was controlled also with processing. You can move the lights of the inflatables, and then when they touch each other, you would create like general effects between all of them. The installation has been set up in different festivals around the world. It has been very successful. People really enjoy it. And as I said, it's like a very, very simple system. And I'm very happy and I'm very proud that it has been recently added to the National Contemporary Art Collection of Catalonia, being the first artwork in that collection powered by Arduino. So I think that's something something also good to celebrate in this 20th anniversary of Arduino. I could never think about my practice without Arduino. Thank you for being there. Thank you for making electronics much more accessible for artists like me, and please keep going. Thank you very much.
Next up, a truly groundbreaking project led by one of our founders, David Quartielles, alongside Pascal Xavier and Attila Jecki, as part of a pioneering EU initiative. Their mission, developing biodegradable electronic circuit boards. Super important.
It's really great. And with electronics everywhere, what happens when they're no longer needed? This project is tackling the challenge head on, providing that innovation and sustainability can go hand in hand.
Let's dive into how they are shaping the future of eco-friendly tech.
Hello, this is David Quartielles, co-founder of Arduino, and I'm here with Attila from Budapest University of Technology and Pascal from the University of Grenoble-Les Alpes. We are working at the Desire for EU project. It's a European research project that Pascal coordinates, and Arduino research is part of it. So Pascal, can you tell us a bit more about the project?
Yes, the project is a Horizon Europe project under the European Innovation Council funding. It's a funding for 4 years. It started in September 24, and it gathers 8 partners from Sweden, Italy, Belgium, Hungary, and France. It is concerning the maximization of the circularity of the PCBs through different concepts that we will discuss.
Let's break the news. So we're making biodegradable electronic circuit boards. So Attila, can you tell us more about that?
Yes, a few years ago, we started to form a consortium around this topic. We received a special composite, which was suitable actually for PCB production. It was reinforced, it was flame retarded, the plastic inside was biodegradable. So the whole stuff, the whole core of the PCB is actually biodegradable. And we started to find or look for some examples and the demonstrators, and our, let's say, our natural fit and natural choice was Arduino. So we tried to work on it, and we produced the Arduino UNO on this special kind of substrate. And then we moved on to the Arduino Nano as well with double-sided assembly. So at the moment, we are able to do the complexity of these boards efficiently with our technologies, and we have 3.5 years to work on continuing to improve upon that.
So we have this idea that we have to change, like for example, temperature for soldering, because the boards...
Yeah, we need to have some new parameterization for the process, but we are compatible with traditional assembling technologies, and that's also a pro to this whole concept. So we can use the same assembly lines as you are using, for example, for the traditional UNOs. We also switch some parameters. We need to tune down the heat, but it's also pro sustainability to use, for example, low temperature solders on these boards.
So we will make boards with less energy consumption, and on top of that, they will be biodegradable. But we are also looking at it in a more holistic, from a more holistic perspective. So we are making a life cycle assessment. Pascal, can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, there will be an holistic approach, as you said, for the life cycle assessment done mainly by University Catholic of Louvain, Belgium. We will be the lead partner for this LCA. Use the data from the project, but so databases and data software, LCA software for the LCA, to investigate what is the circularity behind that, and any rebound effect that might appear. We are aware of that, about all these parameters, to see if we reduce mainly the environmental impact and footprint of the boards, like Arduino boards. One objective is to reduce the ultimate waste volume of PCBs, because there are a lot of e-waste, and it is increasing a lot each year. So it's one of the goal is to reduce the quantity of waste, of e-waste that is not recovered in the value chain of the boards.
So the goal is to make PCBs that could be degraded by the use of microorganisms or composting, so we could actually recycle the copper with a high purity, right?
That's right. There is an aspect on the bioleaching, what we call the bioleaching process, which is using a consortium of bacteria to reduce the amount of chemicals and energy that is necessary for hydrometallurgical process of recovering the critical metals, and with a lower energy than the currently used processes in the industry at the moment.
And so a bit of like the nerd facts for those that like to design PCBs. So yes, can you, Attila, give us a couple of hints on how does design change when you make biodegradable PCBs? What's different from traditional PCB design?
The good thing is that not too many aspects need to be changed. So we can use, for example, the nano design, which has a QFP package on it. We can use double-sided assembly. We can use through-hole wires, but there are minor things which needs to be researched at the moment. So we are using teardrop-based pads. We are using double wires, and we can use, of course, copper flat fields where it's necessary. And we are optimizing on these aspects as well to enable better yield in manufacturing and better working conditions and reliability for the boards.
Thank you, guys. I want to make a call for action to be members of our community. We will be giving away 1,000 boards that we'll be manufacturing through this project in a year time from today. And the idea is to make a super hardcore beta testing of these boards we're making, which will be a new open source design that will also come with wireless connectivity to the LoRa network. So thank you so much and see you soon.
Thank you.
Happy Arduino Day.
We collaborate with many creators from around the world, and we're happy to collect more to our network. So if you are a creator or you want to share any amazing projects or any amazing stories, please shoot us an email at creators@arduino.cc. Now, onto more, let's say, bold creations. First, we have Alessandro from Plasitech, who's used Arduino to fuel his engineering journey with a touch of humor. From simple projects to 3D printing and even futuristic shoes, he's taking innovation to the next level.
Yeah, and also next we have Alessandro Vasapolli. I still remember when we stepped into his workshop, into his world really, with Stefano, where technology and art reshape the perception, literally. It's really interesting because he mixes science and photography with his handmade DIY tools. Really cool. So, ready to have your brain rewired?
Yeah.
Hey everyone, I'm Alessandro, but you might know me as Plasitech. I was born and raised in Venezuela, but I currently live in the beautiful city of Miami, Florida. And I'm a YouTuber that makes innovative electronics projects with a little touch of humor. And I'm very grateful to be here today to celebrate 20 years of Arduino. My Arduino journey began back in 2020, when I was still in college majoring in electrical engineering. Right after the pandemic started, all my classes went virtual, so I needed a practical way to keep learning engineering. That's when I started tinkering with Arduinos. However, I had no idea that a tiny microcontroller and a few components would change my life. I started with simple breadboard projects, like a security system using an ultrasonic sensor and a prototype COVID detector using a temperature sensor, and then quickly jumped to create cooler things by combining electronics with 3D printing. As I gained more experience, I moved on to more complex builds, like a functional Thor's hammer, futuristic shoes, and even my own smartwatch, which allowed me and a friend of mine to be featured in our university's newspaper. I was basically pushing the limits of what I could create with Arduino and other components. After finishing college, I decided to officially become a tech content creator. And to keep up with the fast pace of short-form videos, I shifted my focus to simpler Arduino projects that I could build and share more frequently. After some trial and error, I realized that people really enjoyed the funny twist I added to my inventions, so I leaned into that, and it became my signature style. However, now I'm shifting my focus toward more long-form content, which gives me the opportunity to return to building more complex projects while keeping the humor and creativity that define my work. One of my recent videos for this transition was building a bat doorbell, because what's cooler than being summoned like Batman? But beyond the laughs, Arduino is an incredible tool for creativity and learning. It has helped me turn wild ideas into projects and grow an amazing online community. And the best part is that Arduino isn't just about electronics. It's about empowering people to create, solve problems, and share ideas. Whether you're a beginner or an expert, there's always something new to build. rebuild, and sometimes to fix when it inevitably doesn't work the first time. So happy 20th birthday, Arduino. Thanks for sparking innovation, creativity, and in my case, a little bit of chaos. Here's to 20 more years of making things and occasionally breaking them. See you soon.
Hi everyone, I'm here with Alessandro Vasapolli, an international artist that leverages Arduino a lot in his ambitious challenge of overcoming the limits of human perception in your art pieces. So, ciao Alessandro.
Ciao Stefano, happy Arduino Days 2025, welcome to my studio. And yes, my name is Alessandro Vasapolli, I'm a photographer, I'm an artist. Even if actually I studied business at university, but I always had the passion for photography. So already at university, I thought, okay, once I'm graduated, I'll be an artist. And as you were saying, for me, my artistic research lies on the study of perception. And this is because I think that we, as human beings, we have a very limited view of reality, and most of all, it's really subjective. So my quest as an artist is to enable the camera, to give the camera a different perception that we usually have as human beings, to see reality in a different way, but still authentic.
Nice. So let's show our audience some of your beautiful art pieces.
Of course. Come on.
So about this one, you mentioned that you used Arduino to tell the camera how to compose this image, which is in fact made of different slices, where each slice is a picture, correct?
Yes, exactly. In this case, I wanted to create a multi-exposure image, which is something that back in the days it was possible to do with film, because we could take a picture, not advance the film, and take another picture on the same pieces of film. I wanted to do it in digital, again, without any post-production, because for me, any post-production alteration of a final picture is how could I say, would mine its authenticity. Mm-hmm. So what I've done has been to create an external shutter for the camera. I designed this shutter in 3D, then I printed it with a 3D printer, and then I created all the movement inside and all the mechanism with Arduino. And in this way, by neutralizing the internal shutter of the camera, simply leaving it open for a certain amount of time, then I had this external shutter opening and closing. So to make an analogy with film, it is as if I have taken, in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 pictures within the same pieces of a sensor, even if it doesn't make really sense.
That's beautiful
in that context.
And you told me about another creation in which you use Arduino, right? This one.
Yes, this one. This is a picture to which I'm profoundly attached. This is a picture taken from my last chapter of my latest project, which is called Dance Notes. And it is, as you can guess, about dance. And in this case, I wanted to depict a dancer without showing her body, his body. Because I simply wanted to portray the movement of a dancer throughout time. And to do so, I came up with the idea of creating a completely black suit covered in LEDs. And clearly, I've used Arduino both to tell the LEDs how to light up and to switch off, and also to synchronize it with exposure of the camera.
Okay, so if I understand it correctly, these dark lines are actually the light coming from the LEDs that you manipulated, but it looks like the opposite because it's dark, right?
Yes, exactly. This is the picture as it is for all my works, exactly how it has come out of the camera without any post-production. The way I achieve this color is thanks to an algorithm that I created when I was at university. And basically, this algorithm tells the camera that the color that it's portraying are not the color as we usually see them with our eyes, but are the color of a different universe that I define in a mathematical way. In this specific case, then, I told the algorithm to keep the color how it usually interprets them. So in this case, the background was green and it is still green. But I told the algorithm to invert the luminosity of a picture. So this is why you see the LEDs as black and the background as light.
Nice. So these beautiful colors, you can also tell the camera to react differently, right? You showed me a beautiful red, right, of the background.
Check this one.
So this is it, right? This is the original.
This is the original background that I used for this picture.
Okay.
And as you can see, in the picture, actually, it appears this greenish, bluish tint.
So that's the tissue, the texture that you showed before, right?
Yes, exactly. Okay. That's the background that I painted in the picture. So through the perception of reality of the camera, thanks to this algorithm, and that is the backdrop in real life as we perceive it as a human being.
Nice.
The interesting thing for me is that even the dress, both the costume of the dancer and the backgrounds were red, but they were slightly different red. And while for us this was a small difference, for the algorithm with this different perception, it was a very big difference.
Interesting. So to learn more about Alessandro's creation, check out www.alessandrovasapolli.com. That's so fascinating, Alessandro, and we're happy to be part of your journey and to support you in that. So in the meantime, while we wait for your next project, thank you for being with us, and happy Arduino days.
To you too. Thank you so much.
So next up, we have makers who embody the spirit of innovation and hands-on learning. First off, we have Michael, who's kindly sent us the Arduino Paradox, who he's worked with Mark and Brandon to realize this really cool story around Arduino. And today, Michael is going to take us through an interactive project using the Giga and the Display Shield, pushing boundaries, sparking creativity, and accidentally giving a cat a unibrow. We'll let him explain.
Okay, then we'll see how Hassan and Rafik, better known as Kamitronix, have transformed their maker project into real-world industry solutions.
Hi, my name's Michael Chach with Programming Electronics Academy, and I put together a project I want to share with you today. I hope you'll enjoy it, but first, I just wanted to say I've been messing around with Arduino for well over a decade, and I gotta say what I love most about Arduino is that you're always learning something new, and I love to learn new stuff, and I feel like with Arduino, once you get to a certain point of knowledge, there's just so much stuff you can do and so many jumping places to go from. So it's been such a fun journey. Anyway, so I hope you enjoy this project. I wanted to show you a project today that I kind of came up with pretty quickly. And the reason I was able to come up with it pretty quickly was because I had an Arduino Giga Wi-Fi board, and then I had the display shield. And I feel like if you have those two together, it can do a lot. So I feel like, I don't know, it's just a project kind of waiting to happen. I've also been working on some code that interfaces with ChatGPT. Anyway, let me just show you the project. It's kind of silly, but I had fun making it. All right, so here's the Giga and the shield. I love how the shield attaches to it. Anyway, okay, so you can see I've got, kind of two areas here. I've got a text area, and then this is the drawing area. And basically what it is you draw something here, like I guess you could call it pixel art, sort of, right? And then you hit play, and what happens behind the scenes is that picture, it gets sent to ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT guesses what it is. Okay. So let me draw something simple, maybe like a cat. I'm not that good of an artist. Okay, that's a cat with a unibrow, maybe? I don't know. All right, so then I'm going to hit the play button. And now what's happening behind the scenes is this picture is getting sent over to ChatGPT. It's only getting sent over as text, but ChatGPT, okay, so here we got a response back. Okay, so, this is a drawing of a cat. I've definitely seen more convincing cats sleeping on my keyboard. Okay. Okay, so you can tell he's a little bit snarky, and I've got some issue with my words carrying over, but hey, come on, it was quick. Give me a break, folks. All right, let me draw a smiley face. All right, oh, it's a ghost, or at least it might be, because I'm totally spooked by trying to figure out this thing. Yeah, I tried to give him a little bit of a snarky attitude. If you haven't played with the Arduino Giga yet and the display, I tell you what, it's a lot of fun and great libraries to use it with. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
We are Kamitronix. Kamitronix is a social media platform dedicated to creating fun, engaging, and informative videos about electronics. We create the videos to inspire young engineers as well as experienced engineers by showing them the projects that we work on a daily basis. And one thing has been constant throughout our journey. It's using Arduino products.
We started our engineering journey with a lot of Arduino products, like the Arduino UNO, Nano, and the Arduino Starter Kit, because it has a lot of electronics components like servo motors and LEDs and resistors, which makes it great for beginners. After that, we started using more kits, like for example, the Arduino Alvik, which is a small robot that you can program to drive itself. Another kit is the Arduino Plug and Make kit, like this one we used to make more engaging demos. We didn't stop there, and we started using the Pro line from Arduino, like we're going to show you in the next footage. This is another demo where we use Arduino. In this project, we are using the Arduino Nicla Vision, which is a product from their Pro line. Inside this 3D printed enclosure, we have the Arduino Nicla Vision, tiny but powerful, with a dual-core ARM Cortex M4 and M7. As you can see, it's detecting pests in real time, like this caterpillar. To send the detection to the cloud, we added the VERT electronic feathering address TIA module, enabling cellular IoT connectivity. And this demo, you can use it for vertical farming application. Let me show you. Since smart agriculture is more important than ever, the Arduino Nicla Vision can detect pests in real time, reducing crop loss and optimizing growth conditions, which makes it ideal for vertical farming applications.
And this is another project we have built using Arduino Pro products, the Arduino Opta, PLC, and the Portenta machine control. These two control boards will control the conveyor belt, as well as the lights and sensors and buttons here on the profile. We have a sensor that will detect the presence of a giveaway or a box on the conveyor belt. We have another sensor that will track the box on the conveyor belt and will light up the LED strip accordingly. We have a safety stop button. We have a display that will count the amount of boxes or giveaways we place onto the conveyor belt per day. And we also have a sensor at the end that will stop the conveyor belt once the box reaches the end. Let's try it out. So as you can see, the LED strip will track the position of the box on the conveyor belt, and everything is controlled by these two boards. And this has been our journey with Arduino. If you like it, make sure to follow us on our Instagram, on our TikTok, and our LinkedIn to stay tuned and updated with the latest projects we work on. Thank you.
Here, the Arduino Plug and Make Kit is the perfect way to explore Arduino and kickstart a new hobby. It includes UNO R4 WiFi, 7 plug-and-play Modulino nodes, and Modulino base. Build a game controller, weather station, or touchless lamp with step-by-step tutorials and control them via the free Arduino IoT remote app.
Yes, and our community is taking the UNO R4 Wi-Fi plus the Modulinos to new creative heights. And to check out anything for all the projects and the inspiration, check out our project hub. Next up, we're actually going to take a look at real projects made with the Plug and Make kit, including the Plug and Make Playground, where over 5,000 visitors were able to explore Arduino in action.
Ciao Luca.
Ciao Stefano.
So what do we have here?
This is a demo that I created with the Plug and Make kit. This is a Flappy LED, so it's inspired by Flappy Bird's games.
Okay.
As you can see, I developed it on the Arduino R4 LED matrix. And you can choose how to play. So if you select the button A, you will play with the encoder. If you press the button C, you will play with the distance sensor.
That's so fun. So here we have another cool vintage game reproduction with the Arduino Plug and Make kit that you designed, right?
Yeah, I created this demo with the Plug and Make kit. It's an implementation of Pong. I'm using the Arduino R4 LED matrix. And as you can see, with this encoder, I will move my part of the game. With this one, you will move the yours.
Cool, and there's also audio effect, and you keep track of the score, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
and
amazing.
also with the LEDs, you will see the score of each player, and the first that will arrive to 5 points will win.
That's so fun, thank you. Ciao Giulio, so what do you have here?
So here there is a demo that I've created with Plug and Make kit. This is Little Treasure. We have 3 steps to unlock the box. First step is actually try to find the right combination in order to get all the LED green. Then you have to complete a sentence using this bananas cable, and when the sentence is completed, you will show up a password there where you can input using those letters. Okay,
cool.
Now you get the password.
So she's trying to win the prize.
Yeah, C-A-B-C. Yeah, right.
You won! There is another demo over here that's called Sync a Song.
Yeah, this is another demo that Loris, a colleague of mine, have created with Make and Play kit. Here you have to synchronize those 2 rotary in order to get the song be played. You can choose the song using those buttons.
So they have to stay in sync, right?
Yeah, when it's on the green line, they're gonna get the song.
Oh, there we go. So he needs to go a little faster, right?
Yeah.
There it is. Super cool, thank you.
Okay, now first, James brings paintings to life, literally. Using the Plug and Make kit, he has created an interactive portrait where the eyes follow you. Don't worry, no horror vibes here.
Okay, cool. Then afterwards, Claudio and the Tecnoseta team are revitalizing Italy's historic silk industry, using technology to modernize production while keeping it 100% made in Italy.
Hello, I'm James, and today I'm going to be making a painting that can track you down. If you enjoyed watching Scooby-Doo as much as I did growing up, you probably loved all the secret rooms, trapdoors, and all the other mysteries that plagued every haunted house the gang explored. However, one thing that I always wanted to make was one of the paintings whose eyes followed you across the room. Today, I'm going to be making one with a cardboard box, some Arduino components, and a special device called an ultrasonic sensor. On one side is the transmitter. It sends out a high-frequency sound wave that'll hit and bounce off any object placed in front of it. On the other side is the receiver. It accepts and records the sound wave that is sent back. For this project to work, we're going to be using 2 different ultrasonic sensors. By using 2 instead of 1, we'll be able to track the direction of the person moving and make the eyes of the painting follow them. By using some code that's so simple even I could write it and a schematic I made on Tinkercad, we're ready to get started. I have my setup ready to go. I have the servo that'll move the eyes and the 2 ultrasonic sensors that'll detect the movement. Let's see if it works. It does! So this is the box I'm going to be starting out with. These outside edges are going to act as the picture frame. This front face is going to be where I'm going to paint my portrait. And then the servo is going to be right under here, and it's going to poke out for the eyes. And then the ultrasonic sensors are going to be on either side to detect the motion of the person. Right now, I'm making sure all of my different components fit into the cardboard box housing well and gluing them in place. So this is where I'm at right now. I have this main platform lifting everything off of the breadboard and all the wires to keep it clean. The ultrasonic sensors are on either side, and I still need to secure them and cut holes so that they could see and detect the motion from the person walking by. And I have my servo right in the middle with its arm reaching out, and the next step is to secure these down, put the holes in, and then also start making the mechanism for the eyes so they go back and forth. And now here I'm cutting a little hole in the back so that I can easily access the battery on and off switch, and then I put a little point at the top so I could easily hang it from a nail on the wall. And now it's time for me to get started on creating the eye mechanism. I'm creating this little pie slice shaped piece of paper out of construction paper, and I'm gluing it directly onto the arm of the servo. You can see I've added some dots for the eyes just to get a general idea of what it's gonna look like, and then I'm gonna test it just to make sure it's working how I'm expecting it to, and it is. Next, I'm going to be cutting the eye holes out of the front of the cardboard box, and I think I did this step a little backwards. I think I should have probably cut the eye holes out first and then drawn the pupils, but it's gonna work out. I did have to redo it because there was a little gap in the right side of the eye, but now I'm gonna be adding a construction paper support so that big piece of paper isn't just hanging off the servo. And now we're gonna test it one more time, and it's working exactly how I had hoped. I thought about what I wanted to do for the portrait, and at first I thought I was going to do one of those old fancy portraits of like royalty, but I ended up going with the most suspicious animal, which is of course a goose. The final step in this project, of course, is the paint job, and this is where it really all comes together. I had to do a lot of layers because the red pen I used was bleeding through some of the wet layers of paint, so maybe use a pencil and not a pen like I did. Then it's time for the final finishing touches, and it's ready to be hung. Really quickly, here's the back side where you could turn it on and off and where you hang it. And here's the final paint job. I'm really happy with it and love the personality the goose has with those eyebrows. Now all that's left to do is to hang the goose up and see which unsuspecting victim catches it watching them.
Hello everyone, I'm Claudio from Tecnoseda, a company founded in 2019 in Zagarolo, Italy. Our mission is to innovate the silk production system through cutting-edge technologies and innovation. Thanks to machinery based on Arduino, we're able to transform the silk cocoon into a final product, with a process that is 100% made in Italy. Silk production has a deep history in Italy, but traditional methods have struggled to keep up with modern demands. That's why Tecnoseda is working to revive and enhance the entire silk production chain, from mulberry cultivation to silkworm farming, and from the yarn production to an high-quality textile manufacturing. Our main focus is updating production technologies, in line with the Industry 4.0 standards. Tecnoseda has developed proprietary technologies and holds several patents, ensuring a unique and advanced approach in silk manufacturing. Our technologies introduce several innovations, for example, a whole set of high-tech machinery for thread production, that are capable of processing large quantities of cocoons into premium silk threads, meeting the highest industry standards. Then we have several studies in AI-powered feeding system for the silkworms, Using artificial intelligence and machine learning, we are able to automate the feeding process, ensuring optimal growth condition and enhancing agricultural efficiency. Our goal is to revitalize the Italian silk industry, bringing back high-value production that is 100% made in Italy. Beyond that, we aim to scale our project on a national and an international level, creating dedicated territories for sustainable silk production and reinforcing Italy's reputation for an excellence in textile innovation. At Tecnoseda, we believe that tradition and innovation can work hand in hand, create a sustainable, high-quality future for the silk industry. Our mission is to bring Italian silk back to the forefront of global textile excellence, leveraging cutting-edge technology to achieve this goal. We are excited about the road ahead and look forward to seeing how our advancement will shape the silk chain production. Thank you for your attention. The future of silk starts here. Let's shape together.
And just before we move on, we want to give a big shout out to our very own Julian, who's about to start the Arduino Days in Madrid. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. And Auri, have you ever wondered about the hidden details in every Arduino board?
Yeah.
Let me take you behind the scenes to reveal how creativity and technology come together in PCB design. Let me gather some examples. Just 1 second. Hello everyone, I'm Fabio, visual designer at Arduino. On this special Arduino anniversary, I love to share how we craft our boards and what makes them truly unique. As you probably know, the essential part of any electronic hardware is the printed circuit board, or PCB for short. The interesting thing is that PCB production is basically a printing technique, using different materials and inks. So, in collaboration with our hardware team, we thought, why not use these layers in a creative way? Take your UNO R4 WiFi, for example. You'll find a lot of cool Easter eggs hidden beneath the solder mask. One of my favorites, the tiny heart completing our famous motto, open source is love. The cool part? The heart is an actual pin. You can check it with a multimeter to see the heartbeat of your board, which is also represented nearby. And hey, you know there is another heart hidden on the UNO R4 WiFi? Can you find it? Another great example is the brand new Plug and Make kit. Each Modulino inside has an icon printed on top to help you quickly recognize which one you're holding. And the real star? The Modulino base. We created a bold, creative pattern using every layer of the PCB. And fun fact, we tested several designs before choosing this grid-like pattern to represent the modularity of the kit. There are so many more examples, like the Mini Uno limited edition with everything written in gold, or the white silkscreen printing you'll see on almost every Arduino board, designed to help you easily understand and use every pin. Even the layout of the components is carefully thought out to enhance usability. Every day, we work hard to make our products not only more functional, but also more visually inspiring. So thank you so much for joining us and celebrating this special day. Ciao! Oh, that was cool, right?
Yeah.
And after that, have you ever wondered how to use your TV with Arduino? Alessandro dell'Aquila will show you an interesting working demo.
And then just after that, from all the way from Germany, Roland is in the birthday spirit. But more than that, he's here to show us how he brings innovation and fun into his classroom with Arduino. So let's watch as he interacts with our small but mighty Alvik robot and makes learning an adventure.
Dear team, so I'm here to present my project. So my project is very general projects. So what does it mean? That I create a board. This is the first prototype of last year, and here I have also the enhanced prototype. This is ready let's say, for the community to use. So my shield, as you can see, it's a shield form factor that can be fitted in more or less every Arduino boards, starting from Arduino UNO that I have here. Here I have also Arduino R4. And when you insert this with the normal pinout, you see the board, it has the pins on the bottom to be inserted in the normal Arduino board. Once you inserted this board in Arduino and just using one SPI, one serial port of Arduino, you can create some text or graphics using the video output of this ArduTV. This video output, as you can see, there is an HDMI connector. You can connect your HDMI and you can connect to televisions, to monitors, to projectors. So everything has an HDMI as input. Because I created, you can download freely, of course, a library that you can install as a normal library inside Arduino IDE, and with very simple command that I can show you in this picture, you can create your own graphics or text. I have also here a couple of examples that I want to show you and show the project running. So I mounted a BM680 that is a multi-sensor like pressure, temperature, and other air quality and some other stuff. So this is a multi-sensor mounted and connected in pins of Arduino. So Arduino is communicated with ArduTV using SPI and communicated with the multi-sensor using I2C and plus the power for the multi-sensor itself, the 5 volt here. So, and then of course I connected the HDMI cable to the television, and as you can see, it starts to grab the temperature, the humidity, the pressure, the altitude, blah 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 on the television. The connect, I change example, and here I have in this case Arduino UNO R4, and it is connected. I connected to a simple joystick. This is very cheap joystick and just connected. I'm going to connect to HDMI cable to the television and power it up. Okay. And as you can see, yes, this is a simple version of Snake. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Happy birthday, Arduino. Hi makers all over the world. My name is Roland. I'm an engineer and STEAM teacher from the northeast of Germany. I'm very happy and I'm very proud too that Arduino invited me to create this short video for you. Before we start to celebrate a big birthday party, I want to give you a closer look to some of my STEAM projects. One of my projects is to create a weather station by using Arduino UNO and Arduino Sensor Kit. My students learn to create a C++ code to display humidity and temperature data on this OLED display. Another interesting project was to build a greenhouse by using upcycling material like old furniture and plates of glass. My students also used Arduino microcontroller for this project. My favorite education Arduino stuff is this, the Arduino Alvik robot. This is a smart robot powered by an ESP32 Nano. You can program this robot with MicroPython, and my students create a program for a web server that allows to control the movements remotely. After this short video, you will see some impressions of my STEAM projects during computer science class.
So up next, we head to Mexico, where Laura Balboa and Paulina Machas bring us a vibrant showcase of Arduino in art and technology. Their work explores the balance between nature and innovation, where creativity meets circuitry.
And then all the way from France, we have Leo Briand, who's on a mission to make technology accessible to everybody. With coding now part of the school curricula, he's seen how it sparked curiosity in young minds, and he's dedicated to inspiring the next generation of makers.
Cool.
Hello, Padiuji. Welcome to Arduino Day 2025. I'm Laura Balboa from the Arduino office in Sweden. I'm from Mexico, and I'm really happy to present this art project called Arduinocene or Arduinocene, exhibited in 2021 at Galeria Libertad in Mexico. Arduinocene is an exhibition of 6 installations that simulate, play, and reflect on the Anthropocene, this era that is described by the human activity that has affected the environment. The artists that are mostly emerging or exhibiting for the first time, they created pieces to ask questions around and beyond the dichotomy of nature and technology. This project was part of the Lab for Art and Technology at the Galeria Libertad in Querétaro. This is a central city in the north of Mexico. So now I will share 3 artworks from the exhibition. The first art piece is called Transmutación or Transmutation and was made by Erika Moreno and Krishna Mendoza. This installation explores the interaction between digital and natural elements and its interactivity. It features projected videos of natural landscapes activated by proximity sensors and the people going around the gallery. So while portable devices host still life natural elements, creating a blend of hardware and nature. And this was inspired by the German environmental land artist Nils Udo. The second art piece is called Primitivo or Primitive by Vishanti, and it's a futuristic sculpture featuring contemporary processors and microcontrollers displayed as a relic. This is an allegory for a primitive brain of sorts, an early human invention, seen from the perspective of machines of the future. The third art piece is called Dulcera or Candy Dispenser, and it was made by collective Galaxia Vallejo, and it's a hack dispenser that critiques capitalism, exchange, and the concept of time. Instead of giving candy, it gives objects. And in order for you to get them, you have to use handheld devices. For example, the flashlight on your mobile or hand gestures instead of inserting coins. And now I would like to thank the current coordinator of Galeria Libertad, Marja Godoy, who put us in contact with the former coordinator back in the day when this exhibition happened, who is Paulina Macias, who is here with us to share how this was made and who created it. Hello, Paulina, how are you?
Hello, Laura. Thanks for the invitation. It's very important to say this project was conceived and curated by the poet Horacio Guarapola, who unfortunately passed away recently. During my time, we made several efforts to foster art exhibitions that had technological approaches within LATA, that was the Laboratorio de Arte y Tecnología, the Laboratory of Art and Technology. For example, we gave Arduino and Raspberry Pi workshops, among other open source tools. For Arduinocene, we teamed up with Horacio to launch an open call, and many of the participants of past workshops applied. We selected 6 projects for the final exhibition, and we were very happy to give space to emerging artists. I hope celebrating here with you can be a small homage to Horacio Guarapola.
Thank you, Paulina. Thanks a lot for your explanation of the event, and thanks to all of the artists who participated in the call, the team at Galeria Libertad, and thanks to congratulate Arduino for 20 years of enabling art and creativity. And thank you, Horacio Guarapola, for your work. Heiro, hasta luego. Ciao.
Hi everyone, my name is Leo Briand and I'm the founder and CEO of BETT Science, a company whose mission is to make technology accessible. So I wanted to start this talk by telling you about France. There was a reform a few years ago which introduced coding and it made it mandatory in the whole country. So all the students in the country actually learned to code. In primary and middle schools, they learn it with block-based programming. So there are visual blocks that we'll see later on. And then in high school, they learn it with text programming and specifically Python language. So this reform had tremendous effects. All the teachers and all the students had to adapt to this new change. So I actually started my entrepreneurship journey pretty much at the same time than this reform. So I was back then a student in engineering school and I actually learned how to code with an Arduino. It was an Arduino UNO at this time. And the project which I had was to fly a hot air balloon. So you can actually see it on the picture down there. I was putting an Arduino UNO with sensors in a hot air balloon, and this enabled measurements in the air. And so I actually learned how to code with this project. But I didn't do it just myself with my friends. We also went in a middle school, and there we saw the impact electronics and coding had on the students. It really inspired them, and so I decided to make it my job and to create a company around this concept. So then we created other kits, which expanded into a whole platform, which is now BETT Science. So on this platform, which you can see on my screen, there is a programming part where you can code Arduino Unos and also many other boards. And the way it's done is that on the platform you can both code with block-based programming, which is seen, as I mentioned, in primary and middle schools, but also in C++, Arduino code that can be directly uploaded to the board, and it also includes a simulator. So it's a whole web-based environment that requires no installation and that allows you to code different kind of hardware, especially Arduinos. There is also a resource center where teachers can share their content, and we've had a lot of very interesting tutorials lately. For for instance, greenhouse measurements with an Arduino and also an eclipse measurement when there was a solar eclipse in Canada. And as I mentioned earlier on, we created kits based on the experiments that I mentioned. So for Arduino, we have the solar balloon, which can be seen here, and that we had the chance to deploy in more than 500 schools, but also a weather station and other kits that I let you discover. I wanted to thank you all for listening to this talk, and let me know if you have any questions. We can meet on Vita Science, more than 300,000 users using this platform regularly. Thank you very much.
So now, before we wrap up, let's talk about something every pet owner can appreciate: making sure our pets are well fed, even when life gets hectic. We know about it. With the Arduino Plug and Make kit, you can build a smart pet feeder that dispenses food on schedule and can be controlled remotely, right?
Yeah, so whether it's for a cat, a dog, a rabbit, dinosaur, any other adorable companion, this project blends tech and convenience to make life easier. Actually, this setup isn't quite right. Let me just... Ooh, looks like someone's ready for dinner. Don't worry, we've got you covered with the ultimate DIY pet feeder. Say hello to your pet's new best friend, built from scratch using 3D printed parts and a bit of tech magic with your Arduino Plug and Make kit. Just follow our simple guide to connect everything together. You'll need a servomoto, Modulino pixels, buzzer, distance, all powered by the Arduino UNO R4 WiFi for seamless cloud connectivity. So, start by 3D printing the body of your feeder. Make sure to choose food-safe materials for your pet, like PET. Get it? Next, connect your servomotor to the UNO R4 WiFi, pin 9 for control, and 5V and GND for power. Plug in the Modulino using quick cables. Now for the tech magic. Configure your board in the Arduino cloud, connect it to Wi-Fi, and import the project template. Set your feeding schedules, customize portion sizes, and even tweak the dispensing speed. And hey, if your pet loves to chew as much as they love to eat, don't forget to 3D print an enclosure for the boards and cables. Build your own pet feeder today. It's fun for you, it's treats for them.
So Massimo, what a ride. This 20th celebration is over. So any last comment before we party?
Well, thank you very much to all the people who joined this celebration and were with us for the past couple of days. Thank you also to the people that in the last 20 years used Arduino, helped promote it, helped spread this adoption. And also thank you to all the people who did something with Arduino that improved the world. There's also people who maybe sometimes didn't do things that improve the world with Arduino, but we are only thanking the ones who are doing good things for the world with Arduino. So that's it. I'll see you in about 20 years, I guess.
No, well, we hope very soon, actually, but there's a lot of people waiting for us outside, because you made us a promise.
Yeah. Okay. So this morning I went to Ivrea, the town where we invented Arduino, and I went to buy a special cake. This cake is called the Torta 900. They only make it in the town of Ivrea. It's a very, very nice and very rich cake. But throughout the history of Arduino, the Torta 900 was always like the official cake of Arduino. So I went and I bought a big one, and they wrote on the cake, "Happy birthday, Arduino." So now we're gonna turn off the streaming and start eating the cake, I guess.
Let's go.
Duma.
Duma.
No! Drop the gun. Drop the gun.